Hey, God's people. Can you be angry and grateful at the same time? You might try to convince yourself. But I'm talking about moment by moment. You cannot be angry and grateful at the same time. So here's the thing. Do you realize how much of our life is a life of opposites? And so that in any given moment, if we would just choose to be opposite, that we could be adding to our lives instead of taking away from our lives. Have you ever thought about that? And how it could shift the way you show up if you just said, wait, am I being judgmental right now? And if I am, how could love show up? Yeah, that's what we're going to be talking about today. We are continuing our series of elected, loaded, and becoming. And looking at the Beatitudes of how we can be blessed because of the way that we conduct ourselves as mature sons and daughters of God. And we're also adding that 2 Peter 1, where we're talking about the characteristics of a beautiful kingdom citizen who knows how to demonstrate and represent God well. So we're in verse 7 of Matthew, and I want us to continue thinking about those opposites in our lives: light and dark, hate versus love, showing up versus being absent. Whatever it is in your life, we can consider those things. So in verse 7, it says, "Blessed are the merciful, for they will obtain mercy." Now, throughout this series, we've been doing the definitions as well, so we can truly understand what Jesus is helping us to mold, if you will, within our lives. And so mercy is compassion, kindness to someone who's afflicted or who's in need, and especially when it's in our power to punish or to harm. Now, here's the thing. Many times you say, well, I'm not in a position where I can harm them, right? I'm not their supervisor. I'm not their parent. I'm not their significant other. But no, we all have the ability to harm because the power of life and death is in our tongue. So we have to be mindful of the words that we speak. We have to ensure that we're being godly and not gossiping, right? We have to ensure that we are showing up as those who are light, right? Not bringing darkness into a situation. So then this merciful in the Greek is just slightly different. It's the act of operating in love or pity and not supremacy. So not seeing ourselves as higher than another person, right? Or haughty, or whatever the case may be, where your thoughts are putting you above another person. Yes. And so we understand then that in this world of this kingdom world, right, that when we are merciful, we have the ability then, or we open the door for mercy to come to us when we need it. But the opposite is also true, that when we don't show mercy as God does, then we actually block or hinder mercy from coming to us in our time of need. Now that ought to make you think for a second, right? That in the moment you can say, oh, wait a minute, Lord, I am not being merciful. And first of all, I want to represent you well. I don't want to lose my witness, right? But secondly, I don't want to stop myself from receiving mercy when I need it. So what would love do right now? Right? How would love show up right now? Yeah, that's how you do that. So then the 2 Peter in this 2 Peter 1, we're at the end, or the C clause, if you will, of verse 6. And we had been talking about temperance, adding to your temperance or your self-control, patience, right? But then this verse where we are now is add to your patience godliness. And if you haven't been with us since the beginning, please go back, check out those videos, share them, have conversations, get you an accountability partner so that you can say, I want to continue to add to my life. I need to grab hold, take hold of these verses so that I can seize the moment to become more like God. Yeah. And so it says, so we're adding to our patience godliness. Now, this patience we talked about last week was this steadfast endurance, right? It's the ability to remain under pressure and not quit, not break. And then the definition of godliness is reverence, devotion, and respect towards God, so that the result would be that you have a life of holiness and integrity. So you operating in a place of devotion towards God, then I guess the residue, if you will, the overflow of that is then representing God, where you are have a life of integrity, where you honor other people because you've already been practicing when you honor God, right? And so understanding that each person is this image of God. They're image bearers, right? That God thought about them and created them in the earth. And so whether they're honoring their potential in the moment or not, that we would honor them. Yeah. And so therefore we show that we are like God. Okay, so it means then that no, it's not perfection, but it's reflection. That we're reflecting how God loves us, how God respects us, how God honors us, how God believes in us, even when we weren't doing everything that we were supposed to do, right? And so people then can see God through our conduct. But here's this thing I want to read. In 1 Timothy 4:7, it talks about training yourself up into godliness, so that in the moments where you could be very opposite of merciful, very opposite of kind, that you take this as an opportunity to train yourself up into godliness, to in the same way that we train our physical bodies, even more so we need to train our spirit man, yeah, our inner man, so that we are strong in the Lord. James 1:4 talks about that trials help us to increase our faith, and faith worketh patience, right? And then in it says, I laugh at it because it's like, woo, let patience have her perfect work. What? Let patience have her perfect work on the inside of you, that under the pressure, you would not get ahead of God. You would not be the opposite and be impatient and then miss out on the blessing that God has for your life, when you can stay under that pressure in the timing of God, so that your faith is developed, so that your self-control is developed, so that you can be blessed regardless of your circumstances, right? And so it says that when you do this, that you would be perfect and entire, wanting nothing. Yes. And so it's us following after the things of God. The Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want. When we follow the shepherd, when we follow his example, that we shall not want. That's godliness. That's developing that character. That's receiving the blessings of the Beatitudes, because we've decided to be patient, not petty. We've decided to be godly, right? In times where we want to be angry or upset. So here's what I'm leaving you with. Don't take the bait. In any moment, you can be adding or subtracting. So you need to be said, whoa, whoa, whoa. I'm going to be grateful. I'm not going to be angry. Grateful for what? Grateful for the opportunity to add. Yeah. So that I'm grateful, God, that I get to show mercy and forgive quickly, so that I can have the opportunity to receive mercy in my time of need. God, I'm going to show compassion so that I can show that I'm the salt of the earth, that I'm like my Father. My Father is holy, therefore I shall be holy. And lastly, God, I'm going to give people their space and their room to grow. I'll be patient in their process, yes, of developing the characteristics of godly behavior. So God, I'm going to give them their space to grow. I'm not going to judge, but I'm going to offer mercy so that I will be blessed, and that those who are around me, that hopefully my demonstration of the love and patience and grace of God will be contagious, and that they would be able to develop those things as well. Yes. Why? Because you're elected. You were chosen before the foundation of the world to represent God. You're loaded. He's given you everything that you need that pertains unto life and godliness through the knowledge of Jesus Christ. So as you continue to know him, that you're going to grow up to be like him. You're going to continue to become. Yes. Stay with me. I love you. I'll see you soon.